What's up, YouTube? It's Carolina Calvin coming back to you with another video. And I got MG here. And if you keep up with anything Marvel, referring to the MCU, you know about San Diego Comic-Con. And Marvel had their panel pretty much talking about Phase 4. We're going to go through pretty much every announcement from TV show, of course, to future movies, because that was the big thing. You know, we got a bunch of dates for movies, but we didn't know which movies were. We knew a couple, but just we're gonna go down the timeline. May 1st, 2020, Black Widow. We knew about this one. We've seen screenshots. We pretty much know who the villain's supposed to be. Is Taskmaster. No trailer yet, but I got a feeling that's gonna come really soon. But that's gonna be the of course, Spider-Man was the last big movie. This is gonna be the next one coming out, of course, next year. It takes place after Civil War. It was after Civil War. Yes, it takes place after Civil War. For me, I'm wondering how they do Taskmaster. I personally think, it's Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow. She's one of the OGs, so there's a good chance I'll go see this. But I want to see how they do Taskmaster. Is he going to be like the one-off thing, or are they going to use him in the future? He's a pretty good villain. Like, you really look at his backstory. He's a pretty good villain. So I'm wondering how they treat him, because now that a lot of the villains from the previous phases are kind of gone, how they going to build up these new villains? They need some ones that are going to kind of stick around. And I think Taskmaster should be that first one that does that, because he could be. He could be a threat that other heroes have to face as well. You going to see Black Widow? You can be honest.
I don't think so. I gotta see the trailer, but I'm not.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, I'm not really. They ain't sold me on it yet.
Yeah, trailer. That's probably gonna be a trailer because New York Comic-Con is near the end of the year. Expect a trailer to be there. I don't think they. We definitely not getting out of this year without a trailer to that movie. No freaking way. Next thing is actually a Disney Plus show, which Disney Plus launches in November. I believe it's $7.99 or something like that. The first big Marvel show that's supposed to come out on that is fall of 2020. No exact date. Is the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. It's kind of like with MG with Black Widow. I want to see a trailer. I want to see what exactly the story is going to be about. I'm sure it's taking place after, of course, Endgame. So I just want to see where they're going to go with the story. Who's going to be the villain? Apparently Zemo's supposed to come back. That's the guy from Civil War. So I wonder what they do with that. So I'll wait to see a trailer. I'm not going to just overlook it. It could be pretty good. What about you?
You said for which movie?
No, it's a TV show, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Any interest?
There's interest because I'll think it'd be good, but I'm in between on that one.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that I'm super excited about, because I wanted to kind of see Winter Soldier get his own little thing and kind of transition into being. I was fine with him being White Wolf,
right,
with the whole tease from Black Panther. I was fine with that, but so I'm interested in the sense of I like Anthony Mackie and as Falcon, and I like Sebastian Stan, but I'm also in a point with them where I'm like, they're not necessarily that exciting of a characters to me for me to be like, I have to run and see it day one. Maybe, maybe I'll see it, one day. I'll binge watch it when I'm bored or something like that. But I'll end up watching it eventually, but it's just not something I'm going to be in a rush to watch.
Yeah, one thing, I'm maybe still going by the White Wolf name. They just chose to keep the Falcon and the Winter Soldier name, I guess. I mean, I guess they like the way it sounded. I don't know, but that's gonna be Disney.
Yeah, I think they just did it as kind of a Easter egg type deal.
Yeah, yeah, because we know Falcons looks like he's gonna be kind of taking the mantle of Captain America or whatever.
Yeah, he'll be wearing the cap suit. So
yeah,
which I think that's just the start off. I think eventually he'll kind of transition into his own suit.
Yeah. Next.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he got a little bit more techie as time went on with this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't want to see him stay like Captain America. You know, who wants to see that? November sticking to the same year, November 6th, 2020, the Eternals, and the cast got on stage. Angelina Jolie, Selma Hayek. I can't remember some of the other names. You remember some of the other names, but they're selling this movie on the cast alone. They're selling this like they brought pretty much all the major cast members out there. Like the Eternals, they aren't well known. So how do they figure they sell a movie? You put Angelina Jolie in. You put some other big name actors in it, and that's how you sell the movies because people will go see it for that. And then, of course, people are going to see it because it's part of the MCU. But you put those actors in there who have the acting chops throughout the years, and this is the way you're going to sell the movie. So I mean, it means you're excited just for this cast alone.
Yeah, they went above and beyond with that. Because at first it was just we heard Angelina Jolie was attached, and then we heard Richard Madden was attached, who was Robb Stark in the first couple seasons of Game of Thrones before he got killed off. So at first it was just like, they got Angelina Jolie, that's cool. They got a big name actress in the MCU really finally. Well, they had Cate Blanchett, but and Thor, but it was kind of like, okay, this, I'm not really interested in that. I mean, it's probably going to be decent, because they got those two, but I'm not really interested. And then you hear the name Salma Hayek. You're telling me Salma Hayek and Angelina Jolie are in a movie together? That right there was enough. Sold, right? And then you add Brian Henry Tyree, who, for those of you who watch Atlanta with Donald Glover, he plays Paperboy on that, and he's absolutely amazing on that. And he's a really good actor. He's popped up in a few other movies here over the last year or two. So when you add him into the cast too, now I'm like, now I gotta go see it.
Right.
Because I think the coolest thing is the actors that they're announcing right now. Mm-hmm. Now the kind of thought that's popping into my head is now these people are going to be on screen together at some point.
Yep. And just imagine if. Yeah, because remember the rumors like Keanu was going to be in it, like that didn't happen. Just imagine he was in it too. Like how like people definitely would have went to go see it. I mean,
he'll be in a Marvel movie eventually, though. I think they're just waiting for the right role.
They've been trying to put him in everything. Yeah, I think they get him. I think he plays like a villain.
Yeah, well, I think with Keanu, it's just finding the right role. I think he's very picky about his roles at this point. I think once because I mean, remember they tried to get Angelina Jolie to direct Captain Marvel, and she turned it down.
Right.
And she was waiting. She didn't have a problem with Marvel. It's just she was just waiting for something to come along that was more along the lines of what she was looking for, and they got her finally. And I think it's the same thing with Keanu. Once a role jumps off the screen for him, which I'm just going to throw this out there now. He might be a little too old to play this, but Keanu Reeves as Gambit.
Yeah, he is a bit too old. Yeah. Hey man, look, you go back to earlier years, he probably could have done it, but he's like 53 or something like that.
Yeah, but with the cosmetics and visual effects and makeup teams that they got, you can make him look younger.
I think if they do put him in there, he'll probably play a one-off villain, to be perfectly honest. Or maybe he'll play a villain that maybe comes back at some point down the future of that movie or whatever. I don't think he would do it. He'll have him as a good guy or anything like that.
Because I mean, don't forget we got Sly Stallone in the MCU too.
Yeah, where's that movie at? I remember
that's Nighthawk, right?
Yeah. Well, like they were supposed to do a movie with that, but they never did anything.
Well, the whole Guardians thing got thrown through a loop with James Gunn, obviously.
Yeah.
But Marvel has made it very clear. The next phase, we'll get through the rest of it too, but the next phase, they're bringing out the big names because they're trying to compensate for the loss of the popular characters.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
so they're bringing out bigger names because traditionally what we've seen was they would get unknown people, right?
Yeah.
Which they still got some for some of these other movies, but you're talking about some names that they're bringing out the bag right now, and it's to compensate.
Yeah, we got a couple of names definitely. But yeah, Eternals, November 6, 2020. Actually looking forward to seeing how the trailer for that looks. This is moving into 2021 now. This year, in terms of TV shows and the movies, is packed. February 21st, 2021, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Apparently, Feige said a couple weeks ago that Mandarin is the real Mandarin is in the MCU. So, it wasn't the Iron Man 3. It just makes that movie seem even worse to me. Just because that was Tony's villain. It was Tony's villain. He got that bullshit. But Shang-Chi, he's Marvel's Bruce Lee. Like we're talking about the action scenes, the fighting, the choreography is gonna be fucking dope. So this one definitely will be a watch. Definitely pending trailer. It's gonna go like that for all these movies. You want to see the trailer first, just to see, to kind of gauge excitement. But this one, just from them talking about it, it's a big deal for a lot of people because this is the first Asian main protagonist that they're gonna do. So this is gonna be a big deal, and the character just put on screen, it's gonna be freaking. It's gonna be great, and I'm pretty sure. Who was the guy playing Shang-Chi? What's his name?
It is the guy playing Mandarin. The guy playing Mandarin name is Tony Liu.
Yeah.
Or Long. I can't remember Liu or Long. And then was it it's like Siam something? I can't remember what his name was.
Because I remember that was the rumor that
Donnie Yen and Mike O were both rumored.
Yeah, and that of course didn't happen.
Well, they went younger than Donnie Yen.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, because that's a character they probably want to keep around in the future, probably in future movies. But this is one of the instances where they got kind of the unknowns, essentially. Because that's why I didn't really know any of the actors that they showed up that they talked about for this movie.
Yeah, the only one I knew was Aquafina.
Yeah.
Which she's got a cult following, so.
Yeah. So this one you're excited for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the simple fact of it's martial arts based, and when you're telling me Marvel CG with martial arts, I was kind of slow to, even though I'm kind of I'm off of the MCU thing right now. That Shang-Chi was always kind of the ones from when they announced it that I was like, I might go see that. That was one of the ones for me. So,
yeah, for me, it's a movie by movie basis. Like if I see the trailer, then oh yeah, I'll check that out. But in terms of the grand scheme of it, they have to really get me excited for that.
Mm-hmm. And now, especially in having the real Mandarin in the real power rings as the focal point of the movie, which is kind of cool. Which I don't know how they're going to do that without the director said he doesn't want to do Fu Manchu.
At this point, you almost have to, right?
Which it doesn't make sense because he's Shang-Chi's father, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then plus when you talk about Mandarin in the Ten Rings, it kind of ties into Fu Manchu. So I don't know how you do it without him, but just the fact that we get the real Mandarin and we get a martial arts based MCU movie, that's probably the one I'm excited for. Not just wanting to go see, but I'm actually excited for that one. And now you talk about the possibilities of in a couple of years them possibly adding an Iron Fist.
Yeah, because they gotta wait the 3 years. Yeah, they gotta wait that. Yeah,
3 years from the air date of the last season. So that was Iron Fist was what, last year or 2 years ago now.
I mean, I want to see a triple threat match between Shang-Chi, Iron Fist, and Karnak. Karnak the Inhuman. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pressure points. I mean.
Yeah. I mean, like
that's a little bit different. But in the comics, I believe Black Panther, who fought both Shang-Chi and Iron Fist, said that Shang-Chi was a better martial artist. Iron Fist has better power.
He has the chi that gives him an advantage.
Yeah, which newer Shang-Chi comics, he can clone himself, which is kind of a cool power to see if they add that into the movie, which I think which I don't know if they don't add that, though, because of the 10 rings.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Because here's the thing.
Well, maybe
Marvel.
Maybe that'd be something he won't start with, but he'll be able to use later or something.
I'm going to throw it out there now because I think Marvel's going to do this with the 10 rings. I think the Mandarin will be able to manifest different versions of himself with clones of himself with a power from each ring. So I think that's kind of how they're going to do the rings. He can use all 10 rings and power up just individually, or he can split himself into 10 pieces and each person has a different power from each ring. I think that's where the clones are going to come in the movie. I haven't heard anything about this, but that's just a gut feeling. I could be wrong though. So, which I think would be kind of cool though. Like, I mean, how cool would it have been if Thanos could have manifested himself with each individual Infinity Stone, and you would have had one Avenger fighting each version, right?
Yeah,
that would have been kind of cool. So, and I think something like that with Mandarin would be kind of cool too if they kind of, do something different with the power rings where they still have their powers, and when he's got them all together and he's not cloning himself, he's still, he's more powerful, but he can split himself up too. So I think that would be a kind of cool layer. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting one. And that comes out February 21st, 2021. Next one, TV show, it has a spring 2021 date. No exact date, obviously. WandaVision, it's on Disney+. I mean, I want to watch it for the simple fact that it's going to lead into the next Doctor Strange movie, which we'll get to that one. But for any other reason, nah. I could kind of see... I mean, just going off a guess, I can kind of see the direction they're going to go with that. And I'm not sure if it'll interest me. I mean, maybe. You never know until you actually, until you actually see a trailer.
Yeah.
Any interest in WandaVision?
The only interest is that it is leading into, it's supposed to be a direct tie-in and lead into Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Before I didn't care, but now I'm kind of interested.
Yeah.
I mean, I was interested before when they first announced it, but when they added the Vision thing and the whole love story thing, I was like, I'll skip past it.
Because that's how it's coming off to me, is that it's gonna be that. And however, are they gonna like rebuild them or whatever? But I am interested now, especially with them confirming X-Men is going to happen at some point, where we'll get to that. I'm interested to see where they go with Wanda in terms of explaining her powers. Right. Yeah. Next one, spring 2021. That is Loki. I am interested to see Tom Hiddleston again, because he was great as Loki, one of the better villains in the MCU. So this is probably the show I'm excited for the most for that reason, because he did such a great job as Loki, and you know how they got set up. Avengers Endgame, he takes the Space Stone, he teleports away, so it's gonna come off. It's gonna be a separate like timeline thing with Loki, but I'm fine with it. Tom Hiddleston going around doing a bunch of I'm pretty sure he's still gonna do all the trickster shit and mess with people. So I mean, I'll watch it.
I would figure that at some point he finds his way back into the future. He jumped out of the timeline, obviously. I wouldn't be surprised if he found himself back into the jumping timeline somehow and getting back to the current with Thor.
Yeah, that could happen.
That would not surprise me, because technically, because of the events of Avengers, I don't think is Loki technically still dead, since they went back into the future with the stones, and then Thanos. Thanos came and got fucking snapped.
It made separate timelines.
Yeah.
It made in their time. in the timeline they went back to originally get this space stone, he more than likely lives. But then in their timeline, nothing changed, so he still stayed dead. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. But yeah, in their timeline, he still stayed dead. Because what they changed in the timeline doesn't affect theirs. That's what they found out.
Oh, that's right.
What they changed in the timeline,
I think they find a way for Loki to
timeline.
jump back into this one, though.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. That could definitely happen.
I don't see them doing a Thor movie without him.
Yeah, the next Thor 3 will be pretty... It might get some slight interest from me if he's in there somewhere. Moving to the next one. This is May 7, 2021. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, the villain they're using is Nightmare, which is one I've talked about in the past that I think will be interesting to do. Just because visually, you think the first Doctor Strange had some crazy visuals. You think Spider-Man with Mysterio has some crazy visuals. They do Nightmare. The guy's ability, he feeds off nightmares. He can control dreams and stuff like that. I think that could, they've even said that it's gonna have some horror elements or something like that. I think that could be pretty good. And apparently, Scarlet Witch is gonna be in it. We talked about how WandaVision kind of leads to this movie.
So I get it now. You remember Age of Ultron?
Yeah.
Where she could induce dreams?
Right.
I would not be surprised if that was a tie-in somehow to her powers with Nightmare.
Yeah. Because Nightmare...
So...
In the comics, Nightmare exists is in his own realm or whatever.
Yeah, which I think they tie that in somehow. You know what? Okay, see, now I'm getting concerned because I don't know if they go the mutant route with her.
I mean, they can because her backstory is so vague. When it's explained, it's very vague.
But I mean, now that I'm thinking about
they could.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I think they go more magical than mutant with her.
Well, they always, even when she was a mutant, they always consider her powers to be like magic based, even though it's like a mutant ability that allowed her to use it. But maybe,
yeah, it's similar to Juggernaut, right?
Yeah. His powers come from he's not a mutant at all. His powers come from the Sidorak that grants him the invulnerability and strength and shit.
I don't think she'll be a full-on mutant.
Yeah.
I think they go more so she's a magical being.
I mean, they could go both because even in the comics, she was still considered a magical being.
I don't think they do both though.
I think
they don't. They're not going to confuse people like that. But trying to explain that to the casual person. I think they choose one or the other, and I think this is them choosing magic over the other one.
Yeah, I don't know, but it would be interesting just to see her with the mutants and shit.
And actually, I would not be surprised if they tie the what gem were they using to experiment on her and Quicksilver? Was it the Mind Stone?
Yes.
I expect Nightmare's powers to have something to do with the Mind Stone then.
What do you mean?
Because he's an ancient being anyway, so maybe they do something where that stone was casted out of his powers, or something like that. I don't know. I think there's going to be a direct tie-in though between Wanda and Nightmare, though. I don't think it's a coincidence that I don't think they're just putting her in here for the sake of putting her in here.
I think the events of Endgame, with the multiple snaps affecting reality, weaken the barrier between his realm and the regular realm.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more to it. I think there's going to be a connection between her and Nightmare.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're doing with her. I think they're going the magical route with her, and I would not be surprised if going forward, her and Strange were a team. And not just in this movie, but in the third movie.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I mean, yeah, would it take away from Strange a little bit? Yes, but Scarlet Witch isn't one of those characters that annoys me with how she's been used. I actually think she's been underutilized, and I actually think a tandem of those two fighting other strong, strong magical beings like a Dormammu or even a Baron Mordo is kind of cool.
Yeah,
from a visual standpoint.
Because she's only been used in team ups, really, like with multiple characters, like Age of Ultron, Infinity War, Civil War, Endgame, of course. She hasn't been really used in something that where she's one, like, if they do just Doctor Strange, it's gonna be her, Doctor Strange, and probably Wong or whatever. I
think she could be the Scarlet Witch to Doctor Strange's Captain America. I mean, she could be the Black Widow to Doctor Strange's Captain America. I've somewhat of a, not a sidekick role, but just a team where Strange is still the focal feature, obviously, but she's a secondary character in the movie. I think that's where they might be headed with it.
Yeah, I mean that one I'm definitely interested in. I'm a fan of Doctor Strange, and just having Scarlet Witch in there, who's probably one of the more liked female characters in the MCU. Could be a huge hit. I mean, it's gonna be a huge hit because Doctor Strange's fandom has only grown since Infinity War, where a lot of people didn't see his original movie. You saw Infinity War, was like, oh shit, this guy's pretty cool. And he's doing all the hand signs, he's all the magic and shit. Like, then that's very similar to stuff Scarlet Witch kind of does. So it makes sense with this team up.
And put it this way, if they do the Illuminati one day, somebody's got to take over, the Sanctum, right?
Hey man, they got to do Brother Voodoo at some point.
Or if Doctor Strange gets the supreme power up that he got recently from fucking going to Asgard and shit, where he becomes the mega sorcerer of all time, basically. Yeah, that motherfucker was like OP, bro, at that point. But if they do that, somebody's got to take over the Sanctum, right? And I think, honestly, what this could be a way to build her to being her own individual movie star.
Yeah, right? she got to get her own movie. She got to get her
because
own
movie. say you do Strange, right, and then Strange does what he has to do, and then they move on to the Illuminati or something, or he becomes the Grand Emperor, greatest supreme sorcerer of history, or what, and he's no longer at the Sanctum. Let's say you run with an angle of Loki using magic to jump back into this timeline, and he becomes the Sorcerer Supreme like he did in the comics.
Yeah, that did happen. I mean,
and now he's battling with Wanda.
Fucking Doctor Doom became Sorcerer Supreme for a little while. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Brother Voodoo, which
if you're telling me this is gonna lead to Wanda fighting Loki, Sorcerer Supreme Loki, I'm sold.
Yeah.
Like, you say no more, right? Or like you said, Brother Voodoo versus Wanda, I'm sold. So I think this is them elevating Doctor Strange into a new category, and Wanda kind of stepping into his place after he gets elevated.
I think they kind of see the potential, especially the way Benedict does it. There's a lot of similarities between him and Tony.
And I think when you look at the next Avengers movie or whatever team up they decide to do, he's going to be an intricate part of that.
He's got to be one of the big characters in that.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I mean, you watched Avengers Assemble, though. Remember when when the original team split up and they had the new team with Black Panther and was it Strange and Black Panther and
Strange
wasn't there. It was Black Panther and
Captain Marvel, unfortunately.
And Captain Marvel and them. I think they might be working towards something like that team, and maybe they add Strange into that, and then you get the second tier characters who would be like a Scarlet Witch and a Shang-Chi and some of these other smaller characters. So I think this is them elevating Doctor Strange one day to being a tier MCU character.
Hopefully.
And Wanda will be elevated from C to B.
Yep.
So I hope that's where they're going with this. I don't want her to be in the movie just for the sake of having her in the movie and then it leads to nothing.
Yeah.
because I like her character. I actually
And
like her
they
character.
clearly want to do something. WandaVision, then putting her in Doctor Strange, this second Doctor Strange movie. They clearly want to do something with her.
I think it's them testing the market.
Yeah. So
Seeing
like,
what they can do.
especially if the second Doctor Strange does well, which I think it will. I mean, you look at the last one, 677 million, really no build up because there was no end credit scenes for him. He didn't have a big event movie to really tie him, like to really kind of like a Captain Marvel had to kind of boost her, like people knowing about her. And it's still, for what it is, it still did pretty good because at the time it was something completely different what they've been doing. From a visual standpoint, you got your first time really truly seeing a magic user, sorcerer. So I think the next one will do well. I'm wondering how they're gonna do.
More and more I think about it, I don't think they're gonna make her a mutant. The more and more I think about it, I think she's just gonna be a straight up magical being, and I think she takes over as sorcerer. She'll be sorcerer supreme at the end of Doctor Strange 3, because Strange will be moving on to being the Grand Wizard of fucking life, or something like that.
My thing with the movie, I'm wondering how they're gonna do. You got the known Marvel formula that that has worked. I'll give them that. How they gonna? They said it was gonna be like a horror. It's gonna have horror elements. I want to see how they do that because that's something they really. I mean, what other movie they have that have really horror elements in it? So I'm wondering how they. I'm wondering how they blend that with the known Marvel formula and it actually works. I mean, it's something different. So, next summer of 2021, like still staying with summer 2021. This is animated.
Strange is gonna be the one who finds out how she got her powers.
I figured.
Mark my words. This is all happening. Like you can almost bank on it.
Before we get to the next one, because like maybe in WandaVision, she starts to kind of lose control of her powers or whatever, and she asks Doctor Strange help because who better to help than Doctor Strange? Who else is going to help her more than Doctor Strange? So that could lead to
or maybe because of her powers, Nightmare with her.
He tries to because if I remember correctly, he can't actually. It's difficult for him to cross over into the regular realm unless he's powered up. So maybe he tries to use her as a way to kind of bridge over to the next one. So I mean, there's a lot of different directions they could go with.
So I take that. So now that I've been thinking about it more and more now, I'm also excited for Doctor Strange 2 now. Not just Shang-Chi, but now I'm also excited for Doctor Strange 2 because I think there's some really dope shit that's about to happen with Scarlet Witch.
Out of all these, this is the one that kind of has the most going on because you got a TV show that's leading directly into this.
Yeah, it's kind of selling me on it now.
And you had a potential to really build up Wanda, especially with Black Widow being gone. This is the character I think they should build up in that place, honestly.
Because if they do, at this point, I mean, obviously I'm expecting the second Strange movie to be good, but like I said, I wouldn't mind her being in the third one helping Strange out as a Black Widow type character to Strange's, Captain America. Cause, I mean, for that third movie, I mean, your first movie you went Dormammu, and this movie you're going Nightmare. I mean, the Baron Mortal's going to be OP in that third movie if he's the villain.
Has to be.
He's going to be fucking OP as shit. And, I mean, obviously Strange is powerful enough to deal with him. He's dealt with him a million times in the comics, but having Wanda there to help him out would be kind of cool.
Yep. So
as long as she won't be the one to beat him though. As long as Strange is still the one to beat him, and Wanda's just there for support, like she's a good support character for Strange. I think that's actually a perfect match.
Yeah, you can't have her beat him. Damn.
No, I don't think she will. I mean, she's probably at one point she probably got powerful enough to beat that, but it's Strange's movie, so. Yeah. But I think that's the combination I'm intrigued by.
Out of all the movies, like even the ones that we haven't talked about, this is probably the one this is probably the one that's in that phase that I'm the most excited for.
That and Shang-Chi for me.
Shang-Chi's gonna be dope.
I would go Strange and Shang-Chi 1 and 2.
Yeah, easily. I don't think any of the movies really or shows come that close to it. Summer 2021, they're doing like a what if animated thing where I know the first like big one that they talked about this a while ago was Peggy Carter. What if she became Captain America? So they're gonna do a bunch of other like what if things. So and it's gonna be an animated thing on Disney Plus. So it could be interesting to see because they don't do much animated stuff. Hopefully they start picking the animated stuff up. But that's what that's gonna be, summer 2021. Fall of 2021, another TV show, Hawkeye. It's pretty much leading to his daughter pretty much taking his mantle. It's a big like when we knew about this show before Endgame, and it kind of hurt the scene where Black Widow died. Well, yeah, because it was like they're not gonna kill off fucking Hawkeye. He's gonna be in. Yeah. He got a TV show, so it's like okay, well.
In his defense, they had a Black Widow movie, and it was kind of at the point where like, damn, they both got something coming out. Who gonna die?
No, because
we had heard it was a prequel. Anyway,
yeah, exactly.
So you're right.
We heard like we was like, oh man, now we see how the Black Widow be a prequel because she did. So like, I mean, we knew about this show for quite a while. They should not have announced this show that early. I think and then announced Black Widow was a prequel. I think that hurt that scene in that regard. I mean, it's still a powerful scene just because. She's one of the OGs. She gets killed off or whatever. But it hurts that scene because you kind of felt as though you knew it was her.
I think they jumped the gun with because they announced it when they announced Disney Plus.
Yeah,
I think they jumped the gun announcing it, just trying to get out ahead of it. Like, hey, we got this streaming service coming. These are going to be on there when they could have just waited till Comic-Con.
Yeah, like the other ones, like Falcon, Winter Soldier, the WandaVision one. That's fine, whatever. Because we knew they were gonna come back, but the Hawkeye one that was one they should have waited for Comic-Con to kind of show off that's coming out. Like the Black Widow one, I wouldn't announce that was a prequel either. To be honest with you, I'll just say we're making it.
Is that which one?
Black Widow when they first announced it. I wouldn't announce that was a prequel either because we had it was like, why are they doing a prequel, huh? So it sounds pretty fishy to me. She's probably gone, which did happen. And that's fall 2021. Also 2021, November 5th of 2021, Thor, Love and Thunder. Thunder, I believe. Well, Natalie Portman's coming back, so it's gonna be Hemsworth, Tessa Thompson. Tessa Thompson's great, by the way. Natalie Portman, who I really don't care for because she didn't really want to be a part of the movies, but now she's seeing how much the movies made. Now she wants to come back.
Boy, that paycheck.
Yeah, she want to come back and get that. She want to come back and get that paper because she was part of the first two Thor movies, and honestly, I think she's kind of part of why people didn't like it. She's not the total reason, obviously not. I mean, it was a total tone thing. People didn't like the tone.
Which
of the movies.
On her end, I can understand why she didn't like the movies either. Them first two were horrible, and she probably started thinking about it after Ragnarok.
And then she was apparently the scenes that she was in Endgame, that was actually her. I thought they were just like kind of like just because that was from Thor: Dark World. I just thought they kind of brought those scenes and just put them back into the Endgame. But no, apparently that was actually her and some of the parts of it. So she wasn't in Endgame for a little bit, but she sees how much money these movies have been making. She wants to be a part of the making of the money. But apparently they're gonna do female Thor. If you don't know where that comes from, it's the all new like line of books, which garbage.
They had a short run.
They because that's when you had like Falcon as Captain America. Captain America was with Hydra. They killed off Bruce Banner. They killed off Iron Man.
I think this was before they even killed. I think this was before Cap was with Hydra. This was like 6 years ago when they did this.
They were around the same time. They were very close because I want to say
it might have been 2012, 13ish maybe.
Because the female Thor with the Jane Foster Thor that ended last year. I mean she was in this recent, and if you keep up with comics, if you want to see somebody get a huge push in a single event, read that War of the Realms because Jane Foster gets a huge push in that.
They made her Valkyrie now.
She not only she replaces Thor's mother as Queen of Asgard, then becomes Valkyrie. I mean, like you go from Thor.
Yeah.
You go from pretty much dead. You go from Thor to almost dead from cancer to Queen of Asgard to Valkyrie. Like, holy shit.
And this has been Jane Foster's history throughout Thor comics. They've always tried to put her in a far more intricate role than she needed to be in.
Yeah, they hard pushes for her.
Yeah. That initial run of Jane Foster as the Goddess of Thunder wasn't horrible. It just got bad though. Like, it started off good at first, and
the story
then
should have ended a lot sooner than it did.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people liked it at first, and then people started hating it. So that's kind of what happened with that one. And Natalie Portman, I don't think she doesn't look the part.
She should have been replaced. I think she honestly could have gotten replaced. She could have, like, she hasn't been really a part of it. People like,
which
just replace her.
I think this one's gonna have a little bit more to do with her from a different universe. I don't think this is gonna be the same Jane Foster.
Probably not. And Thunder's the name. Wasn't Thunder the name she took in the books? Was it?
Yep. Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the hammer that she was given a new hammer. I can't remember the name of it because she probably. I mean, if she comes to the current universe, Mjolnir's destroyed. So what's gonna happen with that? Is she gonna get a different Mjolnir, or is she gonna get? I think she probably gets a new hammer.
That's why I think she's going to come from a different universe too. I don't think it's going to be the Jane Foster from the current universe. Right. I think it's going to be one from a different one in the multiverse. Because they kind of hinted at that too. At the, this isn't the same Jane Foster, and there's no conceivable way that this Jane Foster turns into that.
Right.
So I think it's one from a different multiverse that they kind of explain at some point, and I think you'll have something with Thor still searching out, trying to find himself or whatever they're trying to do with him. And I think she'll probably be there stepping in his place and probably trying to talk Thor into why he, what he has to do to become worthy again or something. It's gonna be some horrible stuff. You can just see it coming from a mile away.
I get the feeling they're gonna make her fucking OP as shit.
Yeah, and the whole movie, you're gonna have Thor looking at her like it's Jane Foster, like it's his Jane Foster, and it's really gonna be a different one, and she gonna be whooping his ass, and he gonna be in love with her, and she gonna be whooping his ass, even though it ain't the same Jane Foster, and eventually he learns a lesson, and Tessa Thompson and Natalie Portman teach him a lesson about what it really means and what his past should be. It's gonna be some bad, right? I can see it from a mile away.
Yeah. Only thing I would even care to, like, if they did do, ruin King Thor. But they ain't gonna do that shit because they ain't gonna make Thor look powerful. They gonna make him look like a biatch. And he's probably gonna, Coast is gonna be jokey fun or whatever. So prepare for that. But any interest in that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, based on what you said, it's clearly no interest.
Zero. They ruined Thor for me at this point anyway. So.
Yep.
Okay, put it this way. I'm not going to see Guardians.
Right.
I have zero interest in Guardians. And coming out of Guardians, I gotta see and hear what they do with Thor. And if they get Thor back on the right track, then maybe.
I doubt it.
But it's a huge maybe.
Yeah.
Probably a not likely, more so than a maybe. So
definitely won't. I mean, I'll see what people are saying about it. I mean, we do reviews on it, so there's maybe. Like, I'm not gonna completely say no.
Well, the interesting thing for me is what direction. Well, I mean, even though they've kind of fucked up Thor at this point, what direction do they go with him? Because he is the only main Avenger left in the MCU. No Cap, no Iron Man.
Because Hulk, they ain't doing shit with him. They ain't doing shit with Hulk. Hulk's done.
Right. So he's the only main Avenger left. Which, do they make him a focal point and he's the one who puts together the next team?
He's only signed on for like 2 movies, right?
He signed on for 2, but Hemsworth has said before that as long as the stories are good, he will play Thor forever, which I believe him at this point.
Yeah.
And so depending on how Guardians and Thor 4 does, I wouldn't be surprised if they did a fifth.
Yeah.
At all. And I wouldn't be surprised if that next team-up movie, he's the one who puts the team together. Somebody from the original team's got to do it.
Right.
They've been through it before.
He's the only one left. He's the only one left that they're going to use.
Yeah, especially if it's a cosmic being they're dealing with. So, the Jane Foster thing might be more so a matter of them initiating the female Avenger team that they plan on doing.
That seems more likely now with the push with Wanda and the push with Jane Foster coming in. That seems like.
Well, I think the Wanda one's different. But
I'm just saying like she's gonna get the push, like just as a character or whatever. More so.
But the thing I will say is that female Avenger team won't be the main Avenger team.
No.
That one I'm sure of. So it'd be like a little side team or something like that'd get a big push because, actually I think that movie would probably be pretty successful. From the time we live in. But at the point it's like, okay, I don't have any interest in it, so they can do what they want to do. I'm with you at this point when it comes to these MCU movies. It's a movie by movie basis. It's no longer a matter of
there's no more.
I gotta watch everything.
There's no more investment into the overall story. It's just a movie by movie thing.
Now, what's helping them so far is some of these announcements.
Oh yeah, that we're gonna get to. Yep.
Some of them, most of these, it seems like I'll be somewhat interested in to a degree. Maybe not first day, but eventually check it out. And then you got like Thor 4 and Guardians that I have no interest in at all.
Yeah.
Unless Sly Stallone shows up.
Yeah, they need to do something.
Because if you're telling me Nighthawk is going to fight Thor, Sly Stallone is going to be fighting Thor, I might have some interest.
Yep. Okay, there are 3 untitled. I'll go through the dates. One of them you can fucking guess. February 18th, 2022. It's going to be Black Panther. Come on. It's in February. It's going to be Black Panther. It's Black History Month. So let's go and pencil that in being Black Panther 2. The next 2 you could probably interchange, but it's good. You got May 6th, 2022. Could be Captain Marvel 2, could be Guardians 3, or you got July 29th, 2022, which is, the same thing as the previous day. It could be either one of those 2 movies. So, obviously no interest in Guardians 3 for me or MG. Of course, Black Panther 2 definitely is interested in that one. Hopefully, I'm hoping they lean towards the Namor thing. Yeah, because, they come out and said that Killmonger's not coming back. Who knows if you believe him or not.
I don't believe them.
Yeah, so it's a good chance they're just doing that to deter this.
For the simple fact that Angela Bassett's husband has said that he is coming back.
Yep, and he seems less likely to lie because he doesn't have a vesting interest in it, like to kind of protect that when the heads like Feige do.
I think there's a reason why Michael B. Jordan has been so quiet when it comes to talking about the role. You haven't heard him say pretty much anything about it in a long time. Yeah. And I think they're trying to keep it on the hush. So. Yeah,
and possibly it could be, for Black Panther 2, it could be a Namor thing. So Namor could be a part of it. We'll see. We probably won't see what the movie's going to be until late next year. Probably around Comic-Con of next year when they'll talk about what the movie's going to be about. That one's definitely one of interesting that's coming out later in the future. Captain Marvel 2. I'll watch that before I watch Guardians 3. I'll be honest with you. I don't even like Captain Marvel, the first one. I'll watch that before I watch James Gunn and his bitch ass.
The only reason why the Captain Marvel one would interest me would be because I think that's going to be the first movie that directly deals with the Secret Invasion.
Oh yeah, they already people see Spider-Man.
They teased it, but I don't think these other movies in between time actually address it. I think you'll get some more teasers of, hey, this person was really a Skrull, right? Or little teasers and Easter eggs like they did at the end of Spider-Man. But I think Captain Marvel is going to be the first one to actually address it head on, and I think that's kind of going to be the main villain of her movie type of deal.
Yep. Couple announcements they made are not on the Phase 4 timeline, and that is it's probably going to be a Phase 5 thing, and that is Blade. Who Marshall Ali, he was Cottonmouth. I mean, he was Cottonmouth in Luke Cage. I think is what most people will remember him from. But he's damn good actor.
On True Detective on HBO.
Yeah, he was in the lead. He was in the lead of Battle Angel.
He's one of the lead roles in Moonlight, which had won the Oscar that year. Yep. That dude is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's just from seeing the movies he's been in. He's a pretty good actor, so definitely can pull off the Blade. My thing is, I want to see how they kind of handle the tone of a Blade movie in the MCU. No, it's probably not going to be, more than likely not going to be rated R, because they're going to go for the money over kind of, having that ultra violence. So I want to see how they handle it being PG. It's going to be PG-13. I want to see how they handle it. I think he's going to do a pretty good job. But I just want to see how they handle everything else around it. Who they going to get to direct it? Who they going to get to write it? Because I think that's going to be super important.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, because I think I kind of compare it to kind of Black Panther, and I'm not just saying that because they're black, but I'm just talking about tone. You kind of have the MCU movies, which traditionally are super comedy for the most part, and Black Panther and Doctor Strange both had a completely different tone than all the other MCU movies. And who did Strange, actually?
Ooh, I do not remember the director.
Who wrote and directed Strange? But Ryan Coogler, who did Black Panther, who's also done the Creed movies. I think, having him on board made a huge difference in how Black Panther turned out, as the guy who wrote and produced it. Had it been somebody else, I don't think that movie comes out anywhere near as good as it was. So I think it's a similar situation with Blade, where you got to have the right person in place who's got the right mind, and somebody who's going to know how to push the boundaries of PG-13. Because like Calvin said, they're not going R-rated. They're going to go PG-13 because that's where the money is. But they, with Blade being Blade, being as violent and gory as it is, they have to work around the PG-13 label rating, and they got to push the boundaries a little bit to get as close to they can. And I think one of the reasons Strange is going to be a little bit of a horror direction is it's a test run for Blade.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to have a big part in kind of how they let whoever takes over the helm of the Blade movie, is going to have a huge part in how much leeway they give that person. So I'm excited because it's Mahershala Ali. Like, soon as his name popped up, I'm sold. Right? He's amazing actor. So like Calvin said, he definitely won't be the issue. I think they sacrifice some action for some acting. He's not a martial artist like Wesley Snipes is, but he's a better actor. Mm-hmm. So I think that's kind of a give and take with that. But with all the technology and CG, I mean, stunt doubles, all of this stuff, they can do that easily. And what's interesting?
What's that?
Maybe they don't cast Wesley Snipes out all the way. Maybe he is involved in the movie in some way, right? Maybe, what if he's the one training Mahershala Ali?
So are they gonna make Wesley black? Make him?
No, I'm just saying. I'm talking about just an actual martial arts actually training.
Oh, to bring him in to kind of like
bring him in as kind of help him with the role and as a consultant, because he wants to be involved, right? He wants to play Blade, but they're going. Mahershala Ali is only like 10 years younger than Wesley Snipes, but they're going with their fresh face. But what if they still got Wesley involved in the sense of helping with the direction of the movie and helping? Because put it this way. What if he's the one who's writing it or directing it? That changes everything.
At least in some role to kind of help.
Yeah, so if I'm Marvel, that's what I do. If I'm going to cast a different Blade, I'm going to consult the guy who was great at it, right? It's kind of like with Wolverine. If I'm going to cast a new Wolverine, I'm going to consult Hugh Jackman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so hopefully that's what they do. I don't know if they will. Hopefully that's what they do, and hopefully that helps lead to a better movie, because I do want Blade to be good. Like, out of all these movies at this point, that's one of the ones that I want to have some real success.
Yeah.
So I'm
gonna wait till a trailer.
I'm excited for Mahershala Ali, but it is, like you said, kind of a wait and see. I got to see who's writing and producing it too.
Exactly.
I can tell you now, it will be a minority. Marvel ain't slick.
What's that?
You get a minority lead role, who's playing who's writing and directing and producing it? Another minority.
Yeah. That's what they're gonna do. Yeah, of course.
So I'm interested to see what they do. And not only that, but how they tie in vampires into being a part of the MCU, because it's not something that we've explored in terms of monsters, right? Yep. Which, you know what?
What's that?
See, this is where it gets interesting with Strange. This is where it gets real interesting with Strange, because Strange, kind of how Tony Stark is Tony Stark. Strange could be kind of that type of figure, right? Where, especially with you bringing in so many other people in, you're bringing in X-Men, so you're going to have the expert on mutants and Professor Xavier. You're bringing in a Reed Richards, so you're going to have an expert on literally everything in Reed Richards. And then you're going to have a Doctor Strange who's an expert on magic, right? This could be interesting, because put it this way: what if they do a new version of the Illuminati with Blade instead of Black Bolt?
Yeah. I mean,
that might pique my interest, because if you're telling me you're going to put him and Black Panther and Strange and Professor Xavier on the screen together, say no more, take my money.
Yeah.
So what if that's something that they do? I mean, it's probably not going to happen, but also another thing with Blade, which this seems like it's been in the works for a while. You don't just cast Mahershala Ali out of the blue.
No.
The guy for Shang-Chi screen tested on Sunday and got the role on Tuesday. Which I'm pretty sure that probably was his second or third go through with the auditions, because they've been kind of searching for a minute now. But with Blade, because of the elements that are involved with Blade, he might tie into some other characters at some point, or they could be using him as a conduit to bring Deadpool into the MCU. Because if you're gonna do some edgy characters, you probably want to keep them together. Yeah, and I ain't gonna lie to you, a Deadpool Blade team up would kind of be funny. Blade being super serious, Deadpool being comedy. It'd be like buddy cop shit. And I think that's the thing too. They didn't say anything about Deadpool.
I was just about to mention that. They didn't mention the damn thing about Deadpool. And they're supposed to be working on X-Force or whatever.
Yeah, the X-Force and Deadpool. Well, is X-Force going to be Deadpool 3, or are they two separate movies? Because I'm hearing different things about it.
I just know X-Force is happening. I don't know about Deadpool 3 as well.
Everything I hear about Deadpool is Deadpool 3. So unless that's just the working title for X-Force, which I'm assuming that's what it's going to be at this point, because you're going to sell more tickets with Deadpool 3 than X-Force as a title. But this could be making, and Deadpool's going to be a part of the MCU, probably just not directly involved with all the stuff they're doing. And this could be, Blade being on that side of the MCU, on the edgier side, where they're part of the MCU. All the events that happen still affect everybody, but they don't interact with the other side.
Or Blade could be remember that was a while ago when I talked about they could do a thing. I know you just mentioned the team up. Like, maybe this could be on the side where this is where they're doing the more darker of the MCU movies. So we know the next Deadpool is gonna be rated R. What if that is right along with it as being another movie connected to that, and they still keep that R rating? I mean, because that's something that can potentially happen. Because they have said that some of their movies are gonna there's a chance they're gonna do mature later on. Obviously, we don't believe them because it's Disney and they have a certain reputation or whatever.
Well, and the thing that everybody was assuming too was that because on the Hulu they're doing the Ghost Rider and the Hellstrom show.
Yeah,
and
we know that's
they're
mature.
currently in another character we didn't hear them mention that we know for a fact that they are working on, that they said they're working on, is Moon Knight.
Right.
And so maybe those four end up kind of in a universe together where, okay, you got two that are in the movie, you got two, maybe three that are, maybe Blade's the only movie and the other three are Hulu shows. Two of them are Hulu shows for sure, so it just would be where they put Moon Knight, but maybe they're their own separate sub-universe in the MCU.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and if they do that, they look, because they did, like I said, they're not changing Deadpool. They know it works, and the rated R Deadpool works. So with the head Bob Iger or whatever his name is, he come out and said Deadpool's not going to be changed, and I doubt he's going to be the only character that's done rated R. I think
Deadpool's going to be a bridge character. I think he'll be on both sides of the darker side and the regular side of the MCU.
Could be. Yeah.
Where I think he'll have some cameos in some other movies. Not main roles, but he'll have some cameos where they'll say, you only can use so many cuss words during a PG-13 movie. They'll say some of those for a little Deadpool monologue or whatever, for a little cameo or something in the PG-13 side, but leave them on the R-rated side of stuff. And I think the Blade was interesting because it could open doors. It definitely could open doors for a lot of other characters in a whole other side of the MCU, which could be very, very interesting. It's kind of like Justice League and Justice League Dark, where they really keep Justice League Dark separate from the regular Justice League, even though Batman's part of both. They really keep them separate.
Yeah.
And Batman's kind of the in-between character.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody like a Blade or a because the thing about Blade is you can do his own R-rated stuff and his own solo movies, and then if he comes to do a team up, he's not killing vampires, so he don't got to be super gory about everything.
Right.
So you get a little bit of leeway with him to a degree. I just hope they utilize him the right way and don't mess him up.
Right. This is that. Whew.
That would be very demoralizing, just because everybody's waited so long for Blade.
For them to do anything, TV show, or movie. It's been Blade Trinity came out 2004. We didn't even like that movie. Now we talking about, by the time the next Blade movie, we're talking 17 years, 18 years.
There was one in the works during the later 2000s, but it never came to light.
Never happened. Yeah.
You had the trash TV show with Sticky Fingers.
Woo! Man, don't bring that shit up, bro. The fight scenes. If y'all want to go see some trash, just go look up anything about that garbage show. Jesus Christ. Knew no martial arts at all. Didn't even try to hide it.
It'd be very interesting because out of all the movies, I think Blade's gonna really test their creativity.
Right.
In trying to fit this into the MCU.
Okay, let's do a couple. There's a brief mention of one. Fantastic Four, that's happening. It's gonna be after, just like Blade, it's gonna be after 2022. It's gonna be part of that, the next phase. The big thing coming out of this, they can't make the same mistakes Fox make. Obviously, you gotta learn from Fox's mistakes, which Fox just, that last Fantastic Four movie, they didn't even try. And the first one, I can honestly say they tried. Because I think the guy to play Reed, the guy who
he wants to play Reed again.
I don't know what he looks like now.
He said it many times. He looks the exact same. He has not aged.
Bring that man in. But he was a damn good Reed. He said it.
He would want to do it again if he could. If he could play Reed, he would do it. So I don't think they do, just because of the reputation of those movies. But I bring him in another role or something.
Yeah.
I do get it. That dude was good.
And the guy from 24, he played Ben.
Michael Chiklis.
Yeah.
Was,
Of course,
he
Chris
was
Evans.
good.
Of course, Chris Evans, Johnny Storm.
He
Jessica
wasn't
Alba.
a bad Johnny Storm. That's
No,
the
he
thing.
was. He wasn't. Like some of them.
Out of the four, it was just Jessica Alba. Like,
yeah, because is she even white?
No, she's mixed.
Yeah. Okay. But I thought the casting wasn't the worst. It's just a movie around it. But I can honestly say they tried with that movie. But by the time they got to that third one, which was the one with Michael B. Jordan, trash. And one thing, Doom got worse with of course, as they progressed through the movies.
Sucked because the actor who played him in the first movie I like him.
Yeah, and they fucked him up in that movie and found a way to mess up the F him up even more in the remake or whatever. Which they tried to change so many different things. I think they should just keep the team out of this and make sure you do Doom right. You got to do Doom right because that's a character that you want to keep around to essentially fill that kind of that Loki role. I mean, Doctor Doom is one of the more badass villains in comics, period. So I think, and a lot of people don't know about him, and those movies haven't helped him. It's just those movies are forgettable, or they're so bad that most people got him in top worst comic movies or whatever. So doing Doctor Doom coming out of this movie, I think is the most important thing, just because he's gonna be in other stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about some other characters from Silver Surfer and Galactus, and actually, now that I think about it, we can scratch Namor for Black Panther.
Yeah, because
he's a Fantastic Four villain.
He is. Yeah.
So,
I mean, the one reason why I say Black Panther because there are books.
Recently
there's a storyline where they like Wakanda goes to war with pretty much Namor. They go to war with him. So that was the reason. And Endgame kind of gave hints towards that. People thinking about that.
I think they maybe continue to tease it, maybe.
Yeah.
But part of me really wants to see Namor involved with the Fantastic Four instead. Now,
it would make sense.
If they utilize him correctly to where maybe he's like a secondary villain in Black Panther and then the main villain in Fantastic Four, that would work.
Yeah.
But you got options with Namor.
Yeah.
But I'm not concerned about Fantastic Four. I actually think that's I think that's a home run.
And no way they can fuck it up worse than Fox. Let's just say that.
Well, it's not just fucking it up, but Fantastic Four is such an easy thing to do because the characters aren't overly complex, so to speak. It's not like a Spider-Man who's got, a lot of different complexities about him, or one of the X-Men who got a million different complexities about him. Those characters are fairly simple, right? And casting should be fairly easy for those.
Yeah.
And their story isn't necessarily super duper complicated either.
Nope.
In that sense. And to mess that up, you gotta try. And
that's what Fox
tried.
That's
Fox
what they
tried.
did. Changing Johnny Storm and changing Doctor Doom, even making it even worse. Yeah, you gotta try to be that bad.
We probably get a proper Silver Surfer though.
I hope so. Yeah.
Which he's got a little cult following. Always has.
Mm-hmm. And the last thing that they just kind of glossed over, I think they said, the X-Men are happening, like we didn't fucking know that. But that's definitely pending.
He said mutants are on the way.
Yeah, he pretty much said mutants are on the way. So we knew that was gonna happen. And that was pretty much all they talked about. I don't know if they're gonna talk about anything Sunday. Definitely not nothing in terms of the MCU, which this video is about.
This was the H one, so this was the big one.
Yeah. So if they talk about anything, it's not going to be anything that really impacts the MCU. But there's some interesting things. You could tell that they're trying to kind of get through this phase quick, just so they can bring in the Fantastic Four. They're trying to set up that next big event, and this because there's no really big team ups in this. If you notice, there's really no big team ups in this phase. I mean, you got some characters that's gonna teamed up with each other, but it's not gonna be a big team up. Like Falcon, Winter Soldier, or Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange. But you don't have any big team up, so that's what they're just trying to set up. Whatever they're gonna do for the next phase, then go on to Fantastic Four, X-Men, which is X-Men is definitely gonna be their big one. That's gonna be the one that really is gonna, in terms of whatever event they go with, that's gonna be one that's gonna change a lot of what they're gonna go with. Just seeing, and plus just seeing how the hell they're gonna get put into the MCU it's gonna be the events of one of these damn movies. That's gonna be, it could be Strange, who knows? It's gonna be the events of one of these movies. Because I don't know if they just go with the whole thing of, oh, no, they were already here or whatever, or some shit. I don't know if they go with that.
Yeah, and I think the reason we didn't get a Deadpool announcement is because of the changeover with the cell. Right. Because technically the last Fox movie, it actually just got pushed back to 2000 and late 2020, the last official 20th Century Fox movie. It got pushed back to late 2020, and the New Mutants is supposed to come out next spring still.
Yeah, I did see that. I remember seeing that.
So I think the reason with Deadpool probably is because have they started shooting yet?
No idea.
And with the sale, now Marvel can officially funnel their money into the project.
Right.
So I think I expect Deadpool to be Phase 5. Which I think Phase 4 is going to be the quickest phase we've ever seen. I think this is 2 years. Everything we got an announcement on today, for the most part.
Because most of the movies and shows happen in 2021. They're going to make this phase short.
Yeah, and like you said, we were talking about it before we got on air. We think it's them trying to rush through this phase that way. Because I don't think they would throw X-Men in the dead center of a phase, or Fantastic Four in the dead center of a phase just to throw it there. I think those two were probably going to lead off Phase 5.
Yeah.
Along with and it kind of makes sense to hold off on Deadpool too, to kind of do it in the same phase as X-Men, since they kind of coincide together to a degree. Mm-hmm. So I think it would make sense to hold off on Deadpool till then. And it hasn't been that long since the last one anyway, so you're talking about probably like a 4-year window since the last one. So you got that. I think Blade is Phase 5 as well. Mm-hmm. We didn't hear anything about Nova, which we've heard a million times, so I wouldn't be surprised if he got introduced in Guardians and then his solo came in Phase 5. Because they didn't announce everything that they got planned. Marvel usually plans stuff out 5-6 years in advance. We only got 2-3 years worth of stuff. So I definitely think Nova's still on the table. Obviously, Phase 3 will end up having a Doctor Strange 3 and Black Panther 3. Well, Phase 5 will have Strange and Black Panther 3.
You're gonna get some kind of team up in Phase 5.
Yeah, Spider-Man. I doubt Spider-Man ends at the third one. They're probably gonna keep going with Spider-Man. So that's one of the reasons why they didn't put numbers on Spider-Man, if you didn't notice.
Yep.
Which is interesting because Iron Man is the only one that had numbers. Mm-hmm. Which tells me that they always had a plan to end it at some point. Because you don't put numbers on something unless you plan on ending it. And Thor, Cap, they never had numbers. And you look at kind of how they're continuing the Cap thing with Falcon, and Thor is still going on. And it's not even called Thor 4. Well, is it called Thor 4 Love and Thunder, or is it just Thor Love and Thunder?
Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah, and Thor's never had numbers either.
Nope.
And I think originally they had bigger plans for Thor, and they dialed back on them. Because I think after
the first two movies, yeah. Yeah,
because I think after Ragnarok they were planning on pushing him to the forefront, but then you had some things change, and then they got Spidey and the Fox deal and all of that. So I think it's very telling that those didn't have numbers, and those are the two series that are continuing to a degree.
Yep.
And then Spider-Man doesn't have numbers either. It's not 1 and 2. It's just Far From Home and Homecoming. So I think Spider-Man is here for the long term. So I think he factors into the next to Phase 5 with his 4th movie probably. I don't think they do more than 3 Captain Marvels. Honestly, if anything, after that 3rd one or 2nd one, she just becomes strictly team up.
The way they said it, like, well, obviously it's just a placeholder name, but they got like Captain Marvel 2, and they got Black Panther 2, Guardians 3. Well, Guardians probably call like Volume 3 or whatever.
Yes, Volume 3, yeah, but they're done after the 3rd one.
Yeah, I think so. But Black Panther and Captain Marvel, I think those are just placeholder names. Those probably gonna have a different name. It's just placeholder because they don't want to give away nothing. Obviously, they're probably still brainstorming different names.
So I think it's very telling. Some of these franchise, and then you in Phase 5, some of these newer characters you incorporate, like a Shang-Chi, come into play. In Phase 5, by the time Phase 5 rolls around, they'll be able to use a Luke Cage and a Deadpool and Iron Fist again, Daredevil. Yeah, they'll be able to use those characters again because they got to wait through that 3 year from the last air date. So, and Punisher, which
he could be another part of that kind of sub universe we was talking about.
Yeah,
if they plan on doing that, just imagine seeing
me Punisher and Blade in the movie.
Bro,
sign me up. If you tell me Mahershala Ali and God, what's his name that plays Punisher?
John Bernthal.
Bernthal. If you're telling me those two are in a movie together, bro, take my money 3 times. I'm going to see it 3 times.
Yep.
Undoubtedly.
Oh hell yeah.
So, and actually, I think he might be the one person they hold over from the Netflix. I think him and Charlie Cox are probably Charlie Cox, and maybe Mike Coulter would be the 3 that they hold over from the Netflix days.
I think that would be good. But like that way, you don't even have to search for the cast. You already got the guys who can do the job.
I don't think they replace them.
It would be smart not to.
Plus, because they are already technically part of the MCU. Yeah. Which they can't erase that because those events did happen in the MCU timeline. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they recast those characters. Only reason they casted Mahershala Ali because Cottonmouth died. So
I was gonna say it was a guy that looks like.
Yeah, so I think if they do anything with those Netflix shows, I think they bring back the lead role from them.
Yeah, got the guy play Iron Fist. He's on there, or you bring him back.
Yeah, well, he's the only one I think is going. I will say that because he wasn't too liked by most, so I think he might be the only one.
What's her name?
Jessica Jones?
Yeah, Christian Ritter or whatever.
I don't think they do anything else with her. Nobody cared about season 3.
Yeah, I didn't really hear anyone talk about it.
I didn't even know it dropped. That day you asked me, did you watch season 3 of Jessica Jones? I'm like, I didn't even know it came out.
I hated season 2. I had no interest in season
2. I warned you before you watched it. I told you.
Oh no, I didn't ever finish it. That's why I never did a video.
It gets worse.
Yeah, I just fuck that. I'm good.
But I think there's some good stuff coming, and I think there's also some bad stuff coming.
Oh yeah. But we'll see. We'll see how some of these shows and movies look once they start dropping some trailers and some more information on what's going on. But other than that, clearly the highlight of Comic-Con. There's a lot that's been announced throughout Comic-Con, but it's definitely one of the things that people were looking forward to the most, what they're going to announce. And we knew they were going to have a massive presence here. They're probably going to have a pretty good presence in the New York one later this year. Maybe not as big.
That's about 3 months away, so.
Yeah, it won't be as big as this. This is the big, them pretty much showing what they got prepared for the next 2 years. Next 2-3 years.
Yeah, I think the New York one's probably going to be a little bit more focused on trailers and teasers for the movies, more so than actual announcements.
Yeah. But down in the comment section, let me know what you think about San Diego Comic-Con, mainly the Marvel stuff, because that's probably where most of the news really blew up, because it was blowing up all over my timeline. Everybody was talking about it. But let me know what you think about Comic-Con. Of course, like this video, hit that thumbs up button, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.